Hey everyone, this is Kelly with Kelly's Prepping Kitchen. So today for lunch, I'm going to have what's called a chopped cheese. And these are really popular sandwiches in New York. And I would describe it as a cross between a cheeseburger, a sloppy Joe, and a Philly cheesesteak sandwich. Let me tell you about the ingredients. So I know you can't really see it on this table, but I've got some leftover thin skirt steak from last night's meal. We had teriyaki and fried rice, so I had this leftover meat that I'm going to use. And then I'm going to use some of our breakfast sausage from the other day. I'm just making enough for one serving. And then I've got some deli cheese. I'm rehydrating about a tablespoon of dehydrated onion. And they're typically served on hoagie rolls, but just because we made the Arby's beef and cheddar the other night, I've got these onion rolls I'm going to use. And then you just use the typical condiments of a cheeseburger. So I'm going to put a little bit of mustard, ketchup, and I'm going to throw some pickle juice in it, a little bit of mayonnaise. And, but what sets it apart and makes it different from a cheeseburger is you're actually using loose meat. So anyhow, just stick around. Let's get started. Okay, so ignore the mess. I made fried potatoes this morning, so there's still some residue in this pan, and I flung stuff everywhere, so no judgment, all right? First thing you want to do is put a little bit of oil in your pan. Okay, then you want to go ahead and add those rehydrated, dehydrated onions. Next, let's go in with the meat. Sorry, this is hard to do with one hand. I actually think this is enough meat for one serving, but just because I already mentioned the breakfast sausage, I'm just gonna throw a little bit in there just to kind of bulk it up. Typically, I think ground beef is used, but you can use, okay, maybe I might end up with 2 servings. Typically, ground beef is used, but you can also use ground anything. You can do chicken or turkey or pork, whatever you want. Okay, so in goes a couple drops of mustard. A little bit of mayo. Love this Duke's bacon and tomato. Next, I will add a dollop of some ketchup. And for good measure, just because everything's better with some pickle juice, gonna throw a little pickle juice up in there. Give it all a good mix. So lastly, you're going to want to take your loose meat, kind of form it into a patty. All right, I've got this on low, by the way. And then I'm going to throw my cheese on top of it. Oh, I removed another serving because, like I said, I poured too much meat, and I'm just making enough for myself right now. So let's kind of crank the heat up a smidge. I'm going to put the top, whoa, that's the bottom. No, that's the top. The top bun on, and then I will put the bottom bun on top of that just for the sake of warming it up while the cheese melts, and kind of just put a cover on it and just let it go for a few seconds. So you just want to give it enough time for the cheese to melt, and this is going to be tricky, me doing this with one hand, but I'm going to give it my best shot. So I'm going to go under here with my spatula and try to hold everything together. Like I said, this is probably going to be a challenge. And then move it over here. And then just take whatever got left in the pan and just... Hold on a second, I can't do this with one hand. So you get the general idea. Kind of looks like a sloppy Joe, but more of a cheeseburger style. Let's taste test it. All right, let's see what we're working with here. Now this is definitely a messy sandwich, but that's what makes it so good. That's really good. So if you have some leftover ground beef or whatever, and you're craving a cheeseburger, just don't think twice about putting your ground beef into a bun and making yourself a chopped cheese. These things are absolutely delicious. I hope you give it a try. Have a good one, y'all.